Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I've been able to do a LCAS Animal Shelter weekly update, so I am glad to be back. Hopefully everything runs smoothly. It's my first time using Keynote on Mac, so kind of bear with me if there's any issues. Hopefully we'll be able to go through this really smoothly. So just want to jump right on in. We have the community outreach events coming up. That'll be the next event will be a Touch a Truck, which is an event hosted by Tuscan Lakes neighborhood, the subdivision in Lake City, and we always love to participate in any kind of community events, anything that we can kind of either get our name out there or let people know what services we are there to help our community, and we can be there for them as a support. So that event will be August 20th from 10 to 12. We will have an animal control officer with their truck out there, and any volunteers that would like to go with them, maybe bring a couple of dogs out there, would be perfect. So you can sign up for that on the volunteer page. We also have the Autumn Leaves, where we visit the memory care facility in Clear Lake every fourth Tuesday of the month. And so the next visit will be August 23rd from 10 to 11. We do need volunteers to help with that. We've kind of had a slowdown on volunteers participating, and it really is a great community outreach for us, not just for the us as a shelter, but also for the animals that are able to visit. And the residents really, really enjoy it, and it does make a difference in their lives. So please, if you can, sign up for that so we can have as many people and animals that we can to go visit with them on the 23rd. And of course, we have our big Paws and Claws Adopt-a-thon, which the planning is going on its way. We're getting items for our silent auction. We're getting volunteers signing up to help, so it's been great. If you have not yet signed up, please do so. We do still need some canine companion volunteers and some volunteers to help with the swag bags and things like that. So please sign up on the volunteer page if you're able to help on either one of those days. For help needed, we do have several shifts that are open this week. Of course, our normal shifts like canine companion, feline friend are always, we're always kind of begging and pleading for people to fill those just so we can get the animals out twice a day. I can't stress how important it is to be able for them to go out and get potty breaks, for them to be able to get socialized, all of that good things. So we rely on volunteers. Without volunteers, they will not be able to get out. So please sign up for that. Of course, adoption death support, we've had a few people who've shown interest in that. We do need some more people to help, and it's basically just helping up front. So if you have an hour or 2 hours where you can just come, fill in that shift, help up front, direct traffic, help with people come in. For those who have worked, they can vouch and say how busy it can really get up there. And of course, the Paws and Claws Adopt-a-thon, like I mentioned before. And we also have in need of foster case managers. I will be posting a video on that hopefully today to kind of give an overview on what a case manager does, what is all entailed, and if it's something that you're interested in and helping with. So I'd like to kind of go into a reminder of the safety and rules that are required in the volunteer program here at the shelter. We've had some mishaps lately. We've had some rules have been broken, and it is a matter, these rules are in place for a safety reason, and I can't emphasize how important it is for us to follow them. If we have too many violations of injuries and too many things that are going on, that we can lose this program over it. It can become somewhat of a liability for the city where we won't be able to have the volunteer program at all. So it's very important to follow these rules. So I'd like to emphasize some ones that that definitely they have to be followed. And from here on out, if you do not follow these rules, we will ask you to leave your shift for that day because it is very important. One thing is a strict dress code, including mandatory t-shirts. The dress code itself is important. Make sure that you're wearing shirts with sleeve, like the volunteer shirt, of course. You're wearing pants, long pants that cover up your legs in case that way you're having safety for your legs, closed toe shoes, no dangling earrings and things like that that can be pulled and yanked off by the animals. The t-shirts have been made mandatory because we've had so many volunteers coming in. It is at the point now it's hard to keep up with who's a volunteer and who's not. We want to make sure that the public isn't taking animals out when they're not supposed to be. So that's why it's important for everyone to wear their t-shirt. No children volunteering under the age of 16 in the shelter. We have had some people who have brought their kids up here They are not allowed up here, even if they're up there with you, for volunteering. That is a city rule. It is a liability issue, again, insurance issue, and all of that good stuff. So we cannot have anybody under the age of 16 here volunteering, even if they're with a parent. Also, no visitors that are approved volunteers to be with you. And we've had some incidents where people have brought their friends or boyfriends or girlfriends or whoever, and they have to make sure that they are an approved volunteer first, which means they do have to go through open house and all of the training, and we do have to have forms signed. So again, this is for us to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's when it comes to this program, so we can continue having it. And last but not, of course, not least, all animal safety rules must be followed. This includes no more than one or dog cat at a time unless they're in the same kennel. No handling of animals in the back building. And please, please, please pay attention to body language. I know we kind of get in the habit of just taking animals out, but we have to understand that we're getting new animals here every day. Thank goodness that we're getting older ones adopted, and we have to pay attention to their body language and learn about them. They're learning us just like we're learning them, and so we don't know what their past is. We don't know what can freak them out. We don't know what can startle them to the point where they do accidentally bite out of fear. Anything like that. So we have to make sure that we're paying attention to them when we're understanding what can set them off. So there are some disciplinary actions that will definitely be extremely strict about, not just as me as a volunteer coordinator, but also the staff and volunteers. So these are the disciplinary actions. If you do break any of the rules that we have in place, these are the steps that will be taken. Of course, one will be a verbal. We will tell you that, you know, whatever you're doing is wrong. If it is one of those rules that you cannot continue volunteering for that day, we will ask you to leave, or to you know, maybe go change clothes or whatever the case may be, so you can continue you can come back and volunteer. And that can be done by any staff member or a mentor. So this will be a level 4 canine companion or a level 2 feline friend that can do a verbal action. After that, it will be a written action if you continue to break the rule, and that would be any staff member can do a written write up on you if there's a particular rule that you've broken after the verbal has been done. The next step would be suspension, and this would be a recommendation by any staff member or mentor if it's something that's continuing to go on, and that would be done by me or Kim, the shelter manager. And last but not least, after the suspension and the rule continues to be broken, it is a termination from the program. We can ask you to leave. Again, we have these rules in place so we can have a safe environment, not just for the volunteers, not just for the public, but also for the animals. A lot of the times the animals are the ones that are going to suffer because of the humans who aren't paying attention to their body language or what is going on, and because of us not thinking about them and thinking like a dog. So just make sure that we are following the rules, that we are doing what we need to do and be safe, so we can make sure that we're getting these animals adopted, we're getting them the care and the attention that they need. So if you have any questions about any of the rules or safety issues, of course, you can always contact me via email or phone call. I'll be happy to sit down with you, talk to you, whatever the case may be. If you're not quite sure of the rules that we have in place, make sure that you review the volunteer handbook that's the general handbook for volunteers. It goes over dress code, it goes over just the kind of general when we're open, when can you volunteer, anything like that. The questions that you may have is in that handbook. We also have manuals for each position. So if you're a canine companion level 1 or feline friend level 1 or canine companion level 4, whatever, there is a manual for each position. So make sure you review those, and it kind of goes over rules, safety measures, how to do certain things, entering and exiting kennels, all of that good stuff. Also, make sure that you're reviewing any animal body language. We have handouts on that on the My Volunteer page. We have the webinar that is required of everyone to watch. Thanks to Mickey Kinzer, who's a trainer, who has graciously made that that video for us, and also there's a quiz that goes along with it, so make sure you're doing that. We also have a feline friend webinar that the ASPCA Pro that has done, so you have to watch that. There's all types of info on learning dog behavior, learning their body language, so that way we can read them as best. This is not just for here at the shelter, but also at offsite adoption events, at PetSmart, wherever the case may be, where we're bringing these animals out so we can pay attention to how they're feeling. They're telling us what is going on with them. And we also have adoption counseling info. So we have, a list of open-ended questions and how to ask people what they're best looking for. We need to keep in mind it's not just about getting an animal adopted, but getting them adopted to the right person. Making sure not just the person who is going to give them the best perfect home ever, but giving them to the person that is going to best fit in their lifestyle. We don't want to give a 3-month-old puppy to someone who works 12-hour shifts a day, things like that. So we're making sure that we're catering to the public and making sure that whatever animal they do get is going to be a forever animal. So a lot of this info is on the My Volunteer page under files. So if you look under, there's all types of documents uploaded. I will be constantly trying to upload more as I find more things. I upload more things just to involve info. I post it on the private page so that way you can see it on there. Any type of good info to kind of help you become the best volunteer as possible and the best advocate for these animals here at the shelter. So we've also had some questions on a canine group play. We've had to recently cancel those, make sure that we're not doing them from here on out until we can establish a good social hour program for these animals that will be safe for not only us but also for them as well. So we do have, I am working on at least a program for us to be able to do that. I've started the video, I've started the training for the general overall training, and then I'll be going for each position, particular training for each one. So I have been working on that for a few months now, and hopefully be able to introduce it sometime next year. So the most important thing again is training, making sure everyone knows the rules, everyone understands the rules, and that the program works in the systematic order. Also, behavior identification. This is where the body language really definitely comes into play. We need to be able to read them and understand, know, and hopefully predict if something is going to escalate, if a situation is going to get intense, and we can actually prevent it and stop it before it goes on and moves on. So be able to properly identify behavior and read their body language is extremely important. Also making sure that not only do we have rules and regulations, but we're following these rules and regulations. We've had a lot of times where people know the rules, they don't agree with the rules, so then therefore they don't follow them, and that's going to have to stop. We make sure that we are following just in general rules and regulations that we have for the safety of us and the animals, but especially when we start doing the canine group play, we need to make sure that we're following these rules strict and that we're thinking of an overall picture, not just that one single incident. Who will be participating in canine group play? So that will be all canine community volunteers will be able to participate in one way or the other. We will have different roles for each level. In order for you to move up in the roles in group play, you also have to move up in the level to be able to help with it. But there are always a role or something that you can do to help participate in it. So it just won't be restricted to certain levels. Everyone will be able to participate. When we'll be able to do it? Well, the first thing is to establish a great way to identify certain animals in the shelter, especially the ones that first come in, because with the ones that are first coming in, not only do we know nothing about them, but they are scared, they don't understand what's going on, and they're most likely going to be a little bit more fear aggressive than others, so we have to give them time to adapt. We also need to be able to know these animals a little bit better and know what's going on with them, so we are trying to do those safer assessments. We are starting to train mentors to help with these safer assessments. They will be videotaped and they will be documented so we can show people different behaviors and learn as we're doing them and learn the different body language. And it could be just something just as small as the licking of the lips or the quick little tense of the body when we touch them in certain areas. All of those things that are assessed when doing a safer assessment, so we'll be able to better understand the animals before we throw them into a group with others. And of course, a good program organization. So again, that's what I've been working on, is making sure that we have a good, safe program for all of us to be able to participate in and understand what's going on, and making sure that we have the necessary equipment in order to do it too. So hopefully we will be able to do canine group play. I don't want everybody to get discouraged and think that we'll never be able to do it. It's just a matter of doing it the right way and the safe way. So for volunteer spotlight, I'd like everybody to meet Brooke. Brooke was nominated by a fellow volunteer to be spotlighted. She's opened her home to many foster cats, adults and kittens alike, so many that I probably can't even name them all. She took Daisy in particular as one, as an emergency, and when Daisy gave birth to kittens, when no one here even knew that she was pregnant, she worked really hard with the one survivor of her litter. She also took in 4 or 5 more kittens who need a mom, where her and Daisy worked together to raise them and get them out and about, and so that they can finally get homes and adopted. So Brooke has been one of our spotlight fosters, and it's about time that we actually spotlight her in one of our weekly updates. So thank you so much, Brooke, for everything that you do. You're amazing, and we are so grateful to have you here at the LCAS Animal Shelter. All right, so I just want to kind of put this slide up to kind of remind everybody this is why we do what we do. This is part of the reasons why we are so big on all the rules and the safety and doing things that that are best for the animal, because we want to be able to have these photos at the end for every single animal that comes here. We either want them to be able to go home with their owner before they're even actually adopted, and if they are adopted, that they're going out to a nice, safe place, and we can trust that animal to go there and make sure that they're going to the right home. So I just wanted to kind of remind everybody that this is why we do what we do. This is what's important. These faces, these animals going home and being loved forever is the reason why we're here. And so that's it, everybody. Thank you so much, volunteers, for all that you do. We really love y'all. We really respect everything, your opinions, your concerns, and we want to make sure that we are able to keep this program going. And we definitely wouldn't be able to do this without you. So thank you so much for everything that you do, and we'll see you next week.